and Marvin Bagley.
Which brings us to this, Jason. Are we okay with where the Kings are at right now? They had the win over Houston. They had the 2 blowout wins. Again, I know they lost to Memphis, and no one wants to hear this. And there's no such thing as a good loss, and it's not a moral victory. But that was not one of those games where I was like, oh my God, they're the worst ever. And what are they doing? Like, they lost to a team that's like 11-2 at home, and they lost to them by 5 points. So it seems like we've seen an uptick. So are we off the ledge yet, or are we still kind of on the ledge?
I need to see more. Like, here's what I would say at this point, what I trust, and I'd be curious about your confirmation or, disagreement here. Dave, I trust the starting 5. I have no issues with that. I mean, when I say no issues, all of it can always be better. But of the strength of the team, once they put Malik Monk there, that group is really good. I mean, that I trust, I believe. Now, as much as I say play them every minute, well, you can't, and that's not a realistic thing. I don't trust the bench. It's been better, and I think that's why we've seen the results. But I don't right now. Of the 2 entities, obviously, I trust the starters way more. I am not fully there that the bench is all figured out.
Well, somebody asked as well, what are their next 5 games? Because there has been with San Antonio, no Wemby, with Utah, there's a little bit of a break. They go into New Orleans, and look, this will be really interesting because New Orleans just beat the holy you-know-what out of the Kings last year. But they're also the worst team in the Western Conference right now. They're 5-20. Brandon Ingram is now out indefinitely with an injury. They're 4-8 at home. They're 1-12 on the road. They have the second worst point differential in the league. Only the Washington Wizards are worse than they are. They've lost 9 of 10. I don't care, Jason, what the Pelicans did to the Kings last year. If the Kings don't go in there and beat New Orleans, that to me is a terrible loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And, they're asking about the next 5 games. Really, 1 month from today, Dave, they're going to be in Boston, right? 1 month from today, January 10th. Between now and then, they've got 12 games, which isn't that many in the grand scheme of things. That's spread out pretty nicely. That's as open as it's been. And 9 of them are going to be at home. The one farthest road game is this one, Thursday, in New Orleans. They play at the Lakers and at the Warriors. Besides that, everything else is home. Doesn't mean that's, hey, good, they're at home, because we know that hasn't been the secret recipe. But I just feel like this has to be a stretch. They played the first 25 games, and I would say they've underachieved at 12 and 13. The next 25, starting with this first, whatever that is, 9 to 10, has to be better. Like, if this team thinks they're a top 6 team, and I think that was a fair, like we're saying top 6, I don't think that was an overreach to think that they could be a top 6 team in the West. Well, they got to get going, and they got to be more consistent, and it's on them to start playing better for longer stretches of time. I think the last 5 have been their best 5, but they got to put this together for 10, 15, 20 games.
I think you're 100% right that this next stretch is a get-right stretch. They, as we just talked about, they have the Pelicans. Then they come home and they play Denver, and that's a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
But look, Denver's also been quite beatable this year. They're 12 and 10.
Yeah.
There's a weird schedule stretch where you're getting the Lakers on the 20th and 21st of December, home and home, and then you play them again in LA on the 29th. So you play the Lakers 3 times in 9 days. And the Lakers are barely above 500. In there, you have Indiana, Detroit, Philadelphia, all under 500, all at home with Dallas in there. That'll be an obviously tough game. And then Memphis, who you should beat at home based on how you played them on the road. That's the next 7, 8, 9. That's the next 10 games before they go to Golden State Monday, January 6th, before Miami and Boston. They should, Jason, their next 10, considering everything, 8 out of 10.
Oof, which would be, I mean, fantastic.
I mean, that might be setting the bar too high.
Yeah,
7 out of 10. Let's give them 1. They should beat the Lakers 2 out of 3 times, I would hope. And then give them that's 1 loss. You've got Denver and Dallas in there, Memphis in there. Okay, but let's just put it this way: if they win 6 out of the next 10, I'm disappointed.
Hmm. But
And
I hear you. But even then, like, that's a better clip than they've been playing, and that's sad. That's the bar's been set lower. I mean, if they do 6 out of 10, 6-4, that puts them at 18-17. I mean, again, you're starting the climb. We want more than that, but you got to start getting above 500. Start chopping down some of these other teams. And I think what's happening a little bit in the West is it is starting to get some separation at the top. I mean, that OKC, Memphis, Houston, kind of Dallas group getting a little bit out. They're not completely gone, but a little bit. Whereas the Warriors, Clippers, Nuggets, Lakers, T-Wolves, Suns, Spurs, Kings, that's all bunched. And you know, with 3 of those games against the Lakers, there's a Denver game in there, the Warrior game. Like, those are the kind of games, if you get that, that's quite the swing in the standings for you.